Now, without any further delay, I would like to turn today's Microsoft Office 365 conference entitled Introduction to the New Office 365 with OnPar Technologies and Microsoft over to Jason Carter, Business Development Manager with OnPar Technologies. Jason, you now have the floor.
Great. Thank you very much, Nicole. I appreciate it. Welcome again, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to learn more about Office 365 with us. My name again is Jason Carter. I'm the Business Development Manager for OnPar Technologies. OnPar is a Microsoft Cloud Accelerant Partner, a member of the Cloud Champions Club, as well as a Microsoft Small Business Specialist. All those titles and accreditations mean that we are a trusted Microsoft Office 365 advisor with access to resources and training to ensure that you have the best possible Office 365 experience. OnPar was established in 2002 with the principle of offering its clients simple, seamless, and smart solutions for their business technology needs. When we first were introduced to Microsoft Online services and Office 365 in particular, we knew that it was a product that we could offer with confidence, in part because it beats our simple, seamless, and smart philosophy. Simple because Office 365 uses technology, programs, applications that you are already familiar with and have been using for years. Seamless because it is available virtually anywhere on almost any device. Smart because it is priced for accessibility and scalability, meaning that it can grow with your business. Also, it's designed with security and privacy in mind. Another reason is a smart fit for healthcare and compliance-conscious businesses. That's why OnPar has put such a great emphasis on Office 365. With that in mind, I'm going to step aside and give the floor to Todd Schulteis, Microsoft Office 365 Business Development Manager, who will present the many business benefits of Office 365. Todd, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Jason, and thank you everyone for attending this event this morning to learn about Office 365. I am the Office 365 Business Development Manager in the Southeast, and by the way, I have worked very closely with OnPar Technologies over the last 3 years. They're one of the early Microsoft partners who adopted Office 365 in their service offerings. They're truly excellent in delivering very, very sound solutions for their customers. With that, what I'd like to do here is go through some of the high-level viewpoints of Office 365 from a business value perspective and the direction Microsoft is taking the service itself and some of the exciting innovations that we're putting into the Office 365 platform from which you can benefit from. So just what I'd like to do here is take a second here for us to envision the possibilities that are taking place around the world. It's quite staggering, the changes that are happening in the business world today, a lot of it due to the really profound, fast changes in technology and how it's delivered to businesses today via the cloud. We believe that Office 365 is a game changer for businesses of all sizes, particularly the small, medium business space that may not have had access to these technologies in the past due to cost. So what are some of the trends that are impacting the way we work today in today's business world? This is an unavoidable fact of our lives today, that there is a proliferation of devices that are in people's hands, whether it's at home or at work, at play, you name it. Look at the stats here. 1 billion smartphones by the year 2016, and 350 million of those being used at work. This is changing the way that we use information, share it with our coworkers, and really, really help move business forward. And that kind of moves over to the whole people aspect, where so many more people are using information in a social networking type of environment where inside the company, groups of individuals, teams, executives are collaborating in ways that were unimaginable just a few years ago. This is quite exciting. This is helping people to work more intelligently and drive business forward. And then there's this whole notion of the cloud itself, where people are out and about on the road. They're in the air. They're in different countries or in different parts of the United States, really moving business forward in all their individual roles. The cloud is a game changer in that they're able to access information like never before. So when I'm talking about Office 365 in my portion of the presentation, I am going to be talking about the modern office. Microsoft, just in the last couple of weeks, has released a new series of technologies out of the Office 365 service. We're calling this the modern office, and this addresses this whole facet of our world today where there is a proliferation of devices, giving individual users a much better fluid experience with their touchpad devices, say Windows 8, using their traditional PCs and laptops, using their iPad devices, what have you. There is a much more immersive experience that they're having with Office using a Windows 8 device itself, adding a lot more scenarios for how work is done today. And we realize at Microsoft that there are lots of different types of devices, not just Microsoft-oriented, but the iOS devices, Android phones, for instance, that users or workers are dependent on today to get their work done. There's the notion of the cloud that I touched on. With Office 365, we're making it easier than ever to get access to the Office client on a roaming, up-to-date basis. We're putting a lot of time into helping our software development community develop customized applications for the Office platform. In this area of having enterprise-grade technology now, specifically for the small, medium business marketplace, this is truly unprecedented in today's world, where you have access to these technologies at some extremely attractive price points. I mentioned the world of social. Microsoft recently acquired a technology called Yammer, which is going to revolutionize the way that individuals and teams within a company collaborate on ideas and projects. Then there is control. So we have technologies like data loss protection and data retention and e-discovery capabilities for you to kind of lock in on certain emails for legal purposes. That's all possible with the Office 365 platform. So most of the customers on this webinar today are small, medium business customers. Microsoft calls them SMB customers. We think Office 365 gives the SMB marketplace this incredible experience where users now have access to information on any device, at anywhere, at any time, helping to enable individuals to have a much, much better productivity experience. More collaboration is done, and helping to really have a better experience at their companies, particularly with younger employees who are very, very accustomed to doing business on a multitude of different types of devices. Getting to the area of working better together. This is something that SMB customers are ecstatic about when they get on the Office 365 platform. They're able to work in groups, whether they're in-house or virtually, in ways that they haven't done before. And another facet of Office 365 is that it's going to help eliminate some of the redundant costs that you may have out there related to video conferencing or working with a legacy telephony service, and then cutting down on travel expenses since people can work more effectively on a virtual basis. Easy IT. This is an exciting area for Office 365 users. There is a simplified administration console allowing you to do some very interesting things with your workers that you haven't had before. The whole area of keeping data protected within the SharePoint technology. You're able to set permissions where certain people have access to information and others don't. As Jason mentioned early on, Office 365 does comply with industry standards such as HIPAA and FISMA. So Microsoft takes that area very seriously, and we work with those entities closely to ensure that we're meeting their requirements. And then this whole area of providing the best value. Office 365 is acquired on a per-user licensing basis, thus simplifying the whole notion of knowing what you're getting for your software licenses. And then we always keep the service up to date with the latest technologies advances within the Office 365 platform. So getting a little bit more granular here on some of the benefits within Office 365, this has a lot to offer small, medium businesses. Where does the cloud come into your company's strategy? not from a technology perspective so much, but from a business perspective. So some of the points here on this slide are areas that businesses of all sizes are positively impacted by a cloud-based solution like Office 365. So let's just step back a little bit and think about how businesses in the past have been in a situation of having to upgrade their servers and softwares to stay current with business demands and changes in technology. So this has not always been a cheap endeavor. It's been quite complex. Issues pop up like tracking software licenses and hiring someone on staff to install and maintain the technology long term. Or perhaps you have to turn to a technology firm outside your organization to help with the process. So some of these costs were predictable, but what happens when you have to deal with backups, for instance, or you have to clear or really have a clear idea for what the costs are associated on a per-employee basis? Do you really have a good sense for what that is? And these are certainly areas that are addressed with Office 365 as a subscription-based service. So business now can view technology spend from a capital expenditure, or CapEx perspective, to a operational expense, or OpEx model. That's really exciting for financial types to have a better sense for their operational spend on a per-user basis. So moving to always current, Office 365 is the direction Microsoft is taking the Office franchise. So all of the R&D money, the innovation we're putting into creating the most robust, best experience for Office users around the world. This is all being put into the Office 365 service, and you as customers of Office 365 will be having access on a regular basis to the latest and greatest from Microsoft. And I have to mention that all of this is delivered, this is enterprise-class technology that's delivered to the small and medium business market for the first time, giving you security, support, and reliability that you may not have had before. And again, this whole notion of being able to access your information on any time, anywhere on any device is unprecedented. So Office 365, there's just a few banner customers of ours, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Godiva. Huge enterprise customers as well as medium-sized, even small customers are taking advantage of Office 365. There's lots of different examples, but I'm putting this slide up here to give you the sense that a lot of big companies and companies of all sizes are very confident with Office 365 as the means of delivering information, email, SharePoint sites like they've never had before at a very, very attractive cost point. So what is Office 365? Essentially, it's giving your employees, your workers, the sense of having a much, much greater collaborative experience based on these core technologies, Office, Exchange, SharePoint, and Lync. Again, enterprise-grade technologies. We offer the best service level agreement in the industry. These technologies, particularly the Office client, are familiar to your user base, giving you a powerful cross-platform experience. And then, as I'll review in a few minutes, there are service plans for every single worker type in your business. So going a little bit deeper into Office 365, we'll start with the Office client. This Office 365, again, includes Office Pro Plus on the client side, Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, and Lync Online. So firstly, with Office Pro Plus, this is the rich featured version that you're very, very familiar with that is downloaded locally onto your devices, whether it's a desktop PC or your laptop PC. And it gives you the full array of Office applications, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, InfoPath, even Publisher, for instance. And then we actually have some of these core applications within Office available in a browser-based version. We call these the Office web apps. So this allows you to access Office on any device at any time. and rendered through a browser. And by the way, that experience is browser agnostic. So if you've got some of your users that are using Internet Explorer, they can access the Office web apps. If they are using Safari or Firefox or even Chrome, they can still access the Office web apps, and then connect back to the Office client for those who have it downloaded locally for a seamless, high-fidelity type of collaborative experience. Again, there's new features within Office called Office on Demand, allowing you to have a much quicker access to Office and having it compatible, for instance, with older versions of Office that you might still have macros in or connections to your back-end business applications. The new Office is kind of revolutionary in that, from that perspective, allowing you to experience greater gains in technology, as well as allowing you to access some of your legacy systems. And again, per user licensing, giving your financial types this viewpoint into the operational spend of each user. So moving over to Lync Online. This is a very, very exciting area for Microsoft is the evolution of Lync. This allows you to actually, your workers to have presence within their client, allowing them to understand who is online within their community, their worker community, whether that person is busy or in a meeting or away or offline for that matter. So this functionality itself makes a big difference with respect to getting work done quickly. Starting an IM session with a coworker and then bringing in an Excel spreadsheet for deeper analysis or PowerPoint slide doing co-editing type of work. You can do that now with Lync. It also is really, really tightly integrated with all the different applications within Office 365, whether it's the Office applications or SharePoint on down the line. And by the way, Todd Sweetser, my technical counterpart, will be doing a great demo so you can see how everything integrates here in just a few minutes. Moving over to SharePoint. This is also a really core part of Office 365. SharePoint itself might be new to some of the customers here in the SMB space, but this will catch on if you are utilizing the full array of capabilities within Office 365. This will allow individuals and teams to create team sites where you can have very important documents stored and have access to those documents, set permissions to the documents depending on who you want to see it and who you don't want to have access to those documents. Then you are able to have a much greater collaborative experience as well. Then finally, Exchange Online. This is the core part of Microsoft's email platform. Many of you are familiar with Exchange. This is the email server managed by Microsoft within our data centers. Each individual does get 25 gigabytes of mailbox capacity, and there are various legal hold and retention policies that are part of it with the integrated personal archiving as well as the advanced archiving, which includes legal hold. Okay. Now, I want to spend just a few minutes here on the direction Microsoft is taking Office as a service. Note here that when you do have users as part of the Office 365 service, each user has 5 instances of Office available to them, and they can run those on their PCs or their Macintosh devices or even mobile devices. So this is extreme business value to everyone who has multitude of different devices at home or at the office. Roaming is an interesting direction we've taken Microsoft here just recently, where with your Office 365 credentials, you'll be able to access the service itself on any device anywhere and then find those documents, work on them, edit them, and then save them back into the cloud with Office 365. So we touched on having a steady flow of upgrades included in the service. Office 365 is easily installed with the click-to-run capability, and we already touched on Office Demand, helping you to have a much quicker download experience with Office. So I'm going to touch on the last couple slides here on some of the Office offerings available today and some of their price points. Office 365 for the SMB market space essentially has these three offerings, okay? There is a little bit different technical breakdown, and I have a slide that covers that. But essentially for a very, very small SMB customers, there is the option to consider Office 365 Small Business Plan. It does come at an annual price of $149, or breaking that down to monthly, that's $12.50 per month. This is targeted at the very, very small end of the SMB market for 1 to 10 users. And then we move to the Office 365 Mid-Size Business Plan. That price point is $180 a year, or $15, and it basically is targeting the larger mid-size customer at 11 users to 250 users. It does include the Office Pro Plus client as well as the back-end technologies, Excel, SharePoint, and Lync. And then we move to Office 365 Enterprise, and we have the example here of the E3 plan at $20 per user per month. This is for companies that really want to have advanced IT needs, or have advanced IT needs, and need to have access to the advanced capabilities within the Enterprise plan. So this next slide here addresses some of the differences between the three plans. And by the way, when you're evaluating Office 365, this is a great time to engage with OnPar Technologies to work with them in such a way where you can identify what is the best plan for your business, whether it's the small business premiums, mid-sized business, or enterprise E3 plan, for instance. Then finally, I want to touch on the fact that with the enterprise plan, we actually do have standalone plans that you can consider. This allows you the capability to mix and match all of these different plans that you see here based on the unique needs of every single individual company within your organization, whether you're looking at just getting Exchange Online by itself, or adding a kiosk user that just needs to have periodic touch to Exchange, or SharePoint Online, Lync Online, or even getting the Office Pro Plus individually as a subscription-based product. Okay, so with that, I'd like to wrap up my portion of the presentation, and what I'll do here at this point is introduce Todd Sweetser, the Office 365 Technical Specialist, and he'll be giving you an overview of Office 365 on his desktop.
Thank you, Todd. My name, as mentioned, my name is Todd Sweetser, and another Todd. I'm going to be going over Office 365, what the user experience could potentially be, how our user would interact with the different components within the infrastructure, and show how it actually will potentially expedite and make their workflow during their days hopefully much more efficient, get things taken care of, and being able to interact with each other across the company and even outside the company quickly and easily. And I'll be talking about all four of the different workloads. At this point, you should be seeing my desktop. And by the way, if you don't see it full screen within Live Meeting, you can press F5 and it will go into full screen mode. And you should be able to see it full screen. So as Todd mentioned, the different components that are part of 365, Office 365, and I just really want to make sure everybody understands the Office product itself can be included as part of that subscription. And when we say Office, we're talking about Excel and Word and OneNote and PowerPoint and Outlook. Everything that's part of Office Pro Plus is available via that subscription. Another nice add with this, the newest version of the infrastructure, is if you do have any Office for Mac users out there, Macintosh users out there, the license now includes Office for Mac 2011 as well as part of the subscription. So if there was a Mac user or a user which is allocated 5 installs of Office, one of them could be Office for the Windows, one of them could be Office for Mac, and so on. It can be mixed and matched in such a way. So what I'm going to do is kind of start off in Outlook. And what you see here is Outlook 2013 as part of Office Professional Plus as part of the subscription. And you'll see probably the first few things. If you've seen previous versions of Outlook, you'll see that the overall UI has been really cleaned up in such a way that only the user's important information is presented to them. Their emails, their folders, all the extra information is there, but it's hidden. It's not there by default when I say that information. Everything that's, if you're familiar with the ribbon within Office applications, it continues to be available. It's just basically minimized by default. You could set it up so it does stay there, but by default, you just click on it, it'll show up, move away, and it'll actually go away. And this is really with the idea of making sure that the user's interface is just showing the information that they need to see to do their job, and that's what's taking up all of the space itself. Another quick item to note, of course, with Windows 8 and the newest version of Office and Office 365, touch screen is very important, the ability to touch, use your fingers to navigate through the applications. And you'll see right now it's not necessarily touch-friendly, but you can enable this functionality when installed on a touch machine where I can just choose touch mode, and you'll see it spreads everything out in the UI to make it much more touch-friendly. I actually have a convertible device that can go into a tablet mode, and when in that mode, I put it in this mode, and it's very easy to navigate through different folders, just using touch, as well as these buttons on the right-hand side that allow me to quickly hit reply, delete, or move an item, basically using my thumb when I'm holding the device in that way. So, and this will flow between all the Office applications, putting it in touch mode. So don't want to forget that aspect of the interface and the solution when it comes to utilizing touch devices with Windows 8. You'll notice on the lower left it says 24.7 gig free. As Todd mentioned, 25 gigabytes of mail by default for all the users. Do note that if you enable somebody with the higher level plans, the E3 plans, in the Enterprise SKU or Exchange Plan 2, that does actually enable an unlimited amount of space in an archive. So for compliance reasons, if it was required to have an online archive and a long history of the data, it will actually be available, and now you have an unlimited amount of space in that archive as well. So from a space standpoint and making sure that things get deleted or still discoverable, that is all enabled within this infrastructure. A few other points on the UI. You'll notice in the lower right, it's connected to Microsoft Exchange. Many of you may be using Outlook today, maybe against other third-party services, and maybe not even against Exchange infrastructures. And you'll see as I go through here a few more moments that you'll see there are a lot of capabilities built in here that are enabled when connecting to Exchange. It's important to note here as well, from a secure standpoint, all data between wherever this user is, and note that since this is a cloud-based service, an internet-based service, wherever that user is, if they're on the internet, they will get access to their mail and the other services. And it's all done over secure encrypted channels. So any data between wherever that user is and our data centers is always done over encrypted channels from point to point. And that's very important to note. So a few items I wanted to point out within the Office client or in the Outlook client itself, some of the new functionality that has been enabled when you combine Exchange 2013, which is what's running in our data centers, with Outlook 2013. Some things to help make users' days even more efficient, and one of them is using apps. You'll notice here on this particular email, you've got this gray bar across, and this is new with Outlook 2013 and Exchange 2013, and these are Outlook apps. Note, too, there are apps for other Office applications, for Excel, for Word, and, of course, for SharePoint infrastructure. So there's app stores, in which if I clicked on this, it would take me to the app store. In this case, I'd like to at least show you a few of these apps. One of them you'll see is called Bing Maps. If I click on that, it'll actually navigate to and show the address of that is actually in the email. So it's maybe hard to see, but if I scroll down here within this email, there's an address. If that address wasn't there, that Bing Maps app wouldn't even show up. But think about how quickly I didn't have to copy and paste the address into a browser and bring up a map application in the browser. It was all done right from Outlook. I didn't have to go anywhere else. So it's showing how quickly and efficient a user's workflow. And from right here, I can click Get Directions or go into the actual browser version of the map right from the UI. Another Outlook app that's available and built into the infrastructure by default is something called Action Items. And along the same lines, what it'll do is actually key off phrasing and look for words and sentences in the email that sound like an action item. So right from there, it'll highlight what it is, tell me what it is. I can enable it with a task. I've already done that here, so I could turn around and mark it complete if I wanted to, without having to go anywhere else, without having to remember other ways of enabling the task functionality. So that's just a few items that have been enabled within this infrastructure. Another one I like to point out is the idea of when replying to emails. So if I actually, let's go down to this email here, and I'm going to open it up full screen because just so you see what it looks like. But actually first, I'll open it up here and I'll click reply. And the first thing you'll see here is that I'm actually replying inline. This is called inline reply, and this is right in the Outlook UI. I can, of course, add other people, anyone on the internet. Start typing, hey there. And you'll see I'm actually I didn't pop out into another window. And this is, we got a lot of feedback from people who always had a lot of different windows open in Outlook, and it kind of got out of control towards the end of the day. And I've done this myself. Now actually right within the UI, I can have a reply. And if I were to move away from that, this is very powerful here as well. Now that draft is clear as day, still not finished in the list of emails here. I know that I have an email that I started but have not sent yet. And I can just click back on there and quickly see that I haven't sent that yet. It's now available to be sent right from here in the UI, and I can click send. Now another thing I want to point out within this email itself, something you may have noticed up on the top section here, this is a policy tip. This is something that's available with, again, with the E3 SKU or Exchange Plan 2. This is actually data level protection, DLP, within the email infrastructure. You can set it up so if there are certain things in an email that you do not want to be sent outside of your organization, or you just want it to be sent if somebody is okay with it, authorizes it, or it can only be sent inside the organization, you can set these up, and there's a lot of built-in DLP rules within the infrastructure that you can use as default. This particular one is related to PCI, the payment card industry. So credit cards are supposed to go on the internet, right? So right here, there's a credit card number in here. As I was typing it, it actually found that out and noticed that, gave me a little piece of information that will let me know that this email contains a credit card number. You're not supposed to, in this case, you're not supposed to mail it out to anybody, and it's not going to allow me to send it out to anybody. So you can see the power of just having that type of control right from the email infrastructure and being able to securely lock down that and make sure certain things don't go out. And there are a variety of pre-built templates as well as, of course, say Social Security number and things like that, as well as, of course, the ability to create your own if you should need to. So another item, one thing you'll notice here, too, that I've got this long list of emails in my mailbox, and this is something that was introduced in Outlook 2010. But one way to clean up your mailbox is to actually use something called Conversation View. So if I put it in Conversation View, you'll notice that the overall length of my inbox thread got quite a bit shorter because it actually combines all the emails with the same subject header into one group, so I don't have to go searching for the other emails that are related to that particular thread. I can do it right from within the UI itself, and that'll flow with an Outlook Web Access, which I'll show you in just a moment as well. Last thing I'm going to talk about within Outlook here real quick is in relation to projects. What happens if you have a group of people who are working on a project or an opportunity such as this one is? Now, this scenario here is, let's say I've got a scenario where I've got a group of people working on a potential opportunity with a customer named Northwind Traders. I've got an internal email that's flowing around with each other. But I want to have everything in one central place where everybody can get access to it. And this is done using something called a site mailbox. And this is enabled in a variety of the different SKUs. You do need to have both Exchange and SharePoint Online subscriptions, so the E SKUs or the mid-size SKUs all afford that. But with that, you can enable something called a site mailbox, and it actually combines two things. It combines a mailbox, which you'll see over here under Northwind Traders. This is the actual site mailbox. It has an email address. People can send emails to it, and it'll flow in here, and everybody who has access to it will be able to see, such as the people who are assigned to this particular project or opportunity will see them right there. As well, something else that's enabled in it is the idea of document sharing as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this document here and drag it into the Documents folder that you may see over here. If I click on that Documents folder, what's happening is this is actually integrated. This is where SharePoint comes into the picture in this scenario, whereas this is actually stored on a SharePoint document library. So SharePoint has the ability to manage documents in such a way that you can do version control, keep history, all within a SharePoint environment and have a central place where everybody can get to it. Right here you see I was able to drag that. Now everybody as part of that site mailbox that has that access to it will now also have access to this document library. I can right-click on here and actually bring it up in a web browser, and you can see what it'll actually look like in a web browser. Log in. So this is actually going to bring up the SharePoint site associated with that site mailbox. So it can have a variety of things inside of this site. In this case, I'm going to go to the documents, and you'll see it's that same document library listed right here that's associated with it. So you can see the power being able to utilize both those tools, and both of them would be accessible from the users, be them remote or inside your network. Again, showing the power of the cloud and how collaboration is key when all these things are combined. So last item I'll point out here in this UI is I want to make sure everybody notices that you'll see that people here have different colors next to their names. I've got Karen, who's myself, that's green. I've got a colleague, Julian, who right now looks like he's away from the office. I bet you if I tell him he became available. This is actually real-time presence information floating from the users from wherever they are, be them in Outlook Web Access or at their desktop. And this is coming from the Lync Online infrastructure. So this is a tool that, first off, as you can see here, lets you know when other people are available, but it has other functionality as well. If I put my cursor over the user's name, I can get something called their people card, which will have a bunch of information, if you expand on it, about that person, their organization, what's new from a social networking internal point of view, and then, of course, I can kick off an instant messaging conversation with that person if I wanted to, right from within this UI, as well as voice and video. Now, something else that can be done with this infrastructure is meetings. So if I wanted to potentially meet with this group of people using the Lync Online infrastructure, I can just click Reply with a meeting request right from Outlook itself without having to go anywhere else. If I click on this Lync Meeting button, it'll actually add the meeting information right into that meeting request. And it's all done over voice and video, over IP if you desired, when we have this meeting, so you can see people as you're talking to them in full HD. You can share desktops similar to what we're doing today. Do note that by default, a user is just going to get a URL. And something else that's probably important to note is that these people attending these meetings can be anyone on the Internet as well. It doesn't have to be internal people. Every person who's licensed for this infrastructure can host meetings with up to 250 attendees. So this isn't just a 4 or 5, 10 attendee limit. These can be fairly large meetings that can be used for partner training, customer training, marketing events, all kinds of different things. And these meetings can be recorded as well. So then you'll be given just a movie file that you can upload into SkyDrive or up into YouTube or any other tool of your choice and be able to share or post it on your website and share it with people and reuse those items. Now, I mentioned that you don't have a phone number by default, but we do work with third-party solutions, third-party audio conferencing providers, that if you wanted a hard landline to have as a bridge for these types of meetings, that can be added on quite easily using some of the third-party services such as Intercall, PG1, and British Telecom, I believe are the three. And that would enable the actual have a phone number bridge as part of that meeting. Do note when scheduling, of course, you have access, since this is Exchange Online infrastructure, you can see free busy information of the other people that are being invited to the meeting. That way you can ensure that the meeting and everybody is available at that particular time when looking at calendars. So I can see free busy information of people. If I had a room and needed to assign a room, conference room, those types of calendars are actually available for free within this infrastructure. So if I wanted to add a room to the infrastructure and a calendar associated with it that will accept meeting requests based on availability or have a delegate assigned to it to okay the meeting request, such as like a executive conference room or something, that can all be accomplished. And those are at no charge within this infrastructure, those types of resource calendars. So, I mean, I've talked about everything in Outlook so far and a little bit in the SharePoint browser, but I know that many people may need to access their email and not be at their desktop and not have Outlook. So, of course, we have the capability to use a web browser to access these services. So what you're looking at here is the initial page that users would get access to when they access Office 365. So from an end user point of view, this is the default view for information workers. And they'll get to this screen the first few times they do it, and then it'll actually default to Outlook. But one thing you'll notice is this ribbon across the top, this control bar. That will follow the users no matter where they are within the infrastructure, and I'll talk through what these items are. First off here, you know, the first time a user accesses it, they can get links to help information and videos on how to do basic functions within the tool set. If they are licensed for, as part of one of their, if they purchase a license that includes the Office product itself, this is where they can install the latest version of Office, as well as Windows 8 apps if they're doing it from Windows 8. If they're on a Mac, they would get a downloaded link to the Office for Mac 2011 product, as well as access to configure mobile devices. Obviously, mobile devices are huge right now. Everybody's got them, and all the devices listed below are fully supported within this infrastructure. Of course, Windows Phone definitely probably has the best experience, especially when it comes to accessing Office documents via the Office Hub and your document libraries. But of course, iPhones, iPads, Androids, Blackberries are all supported within this infrastructure. Any device that has active sync technology is supported as well. So as far as the email look and feel, I'm going to bring it up real quick here in Internet Explorer, just so you guys can take a quick look at it. But one thing I like to show when talking about this infrastructure is the fact that the UI for the web browser interface is going to be the same whether I'm in Internet Explorer or in other third-party browsers. So this is a third-party browser. This is Firefox, and you'll see the same look and feel. This is a different mailbox. This is a different user's mailbox, so it may look slightly different. But at the end of the day, it still is the same look and feel, right-click functionality. This is something that surprises people sometimes. Similar to what they would have in Outlook, they're going to have here, so they can take care of things that they would do in Outlook just in the same manner as they would do it within the Outlook web access user interface as well. So as you can see, I mean, from a usability point of view, people don't have to learn anything different. Browsers supported are Firefox such as this, Chrome, Firefox on Linux, Safari on the Mac. They're all, the most current versions are all fully supported with the same look and feel across the board. So I definitely like to show that. And of course, you have access to all the other components, your calendaring, which if you click here, you'll notice I'll go to my Outlook calendar that's stored up there that other people can see, as well as my contacts. So a few other items that I definitely want to talk to that utilize other parts of the infrastructure. From a user point of view, one thing you won't notice is you probably won't see the word SharePoint up here, but you will see a few things that people are familiar with in their day-to-day lives. One of them is Newsfeed. And this is really the home page for the individual users within the Office 365 infrastructure. And this is something that is maintained and stored in the SharePoint environment. But if you look at it, it looks very similar to what people are used to today when it comes to news feeds. We're talking about having social conversations with people, except the big difference here is that this is internal. This is in a secure environment that is only internal to the company. So what you're seeing now is the ability to use the same things that people do today. They can start a conversation and, hey there, everyone. You can use @ to mention people, so I can mention that, Eric has done a great job. I'm not going to continue on. I just put post. Click on post. It's going to post it up there. Other people can like it. Other people can reply. Eric's going to see this on his feed when he goes ahead and sees that. It's going to flow across the board just like people are used to. And you can actually follow more than just people. You can follow documents within the infrastructure, actual sites, which I'll show you in a moment that are available, all available within this infrastructure. Now, another very powerful function within this tool set is document storage in the cloud. And each user within this infrastructure is allocated something called a SkyDrive Pro site. And that is, again, assigned specifically to the user. So what you're looking at here is a SkyDrive Pro site for Karen Berg. And this is an area within the product that they have access to files in the cloud. So wherever they are, they will have access to these files in the cloud. And there's a few nice things about it. I can easily, if I needed to add files into this UI, I can just drag and drop them right there into the UI. Quickly and easily, right in the browser. So you can see, I didn't have to go somewhere else to do it. But another thing that people always ask about and that has now been added within this infrastructure is keeping a local copy, an offline copy. So you'll see in the upper right-hand corner here, there's the sync icon. This will create a synchronized copy of this library. I've already done this, so if I just double-click on my library, you'll see here that this is that same library of the files that are stored locally and in the cloud. And you'll see that IDs just popped out because it just synchronized down to my local machine using the synchronization technology. And you can have more than one document library. You can see I have my corporate Microsoft one listed here. You'll see SkyDrive Regular, that's the consumer because there's a synchronization capability with the consumer SkyDrive. This is separate from that. But here, keep in mind that each user has a 7 gigabytes of space within this SkyDrive document library to be able to store documents. And we're using this very heavily here. We have lots of customers that are already using it, and just the usability of it makes it very easy to use. I can now actually open documents. If I open it here, it's still, and I make any changes, it will be saved up here into the cloud and back and forth. It's a very powerful tool. So a few other items to note here from overall sites within the SharePoint infrastructure component. This is where you can build up intranet or even public websites or sites where you can share information with people outside of the company. And this is something that you would definitely want to work with OnPar so they understand what your needs are and can potentially help guide you on how to create and what needs to be created up here. But you can create sub-sites. You can see here within this one there's all kinds of sub-sites. This is that Northwind Traders site that I showed you earlier that has a site mailbox associated with it that is a team project. So sites can be used in a variety of ways. And then data can be synced from these other document libraries the same way as a person's local personal SkyDrive can be synced as well. So just a few other quick items to note as my time whittles down here. One thing I want to talk about is the ability to share things with people outside of the company, and there's a few ways of doing that. You'll notice in a document library here, there's this little icon very clearly stated if it's shared or not already. If I click on that, I can see who is actually shared with that document. Right now I haven't shared it with anybody, but if I wanted to invite other people to view that document, I can do it right here within the UI. Your company can enable it so it can either, by default, it's only people inside the company, but you can enable it for external sharing, meaning people outside of the company. And what will happen is they will get an email sent to them with a little invite with a link to actually open up that document, loading on that SkyDrive Pro or document library. You can also require sign-on or not require sign-on. If you don't require sign-on, they won't even have to log in to access it. It will be just an anonymous access link. But the nice thing about it, too, is that you see I'm doing it here, but if you're actually in a desktop client, in this case, this is PowerPoint, PowerPoint 2013, and I'm going to probably end on this point in terms of sharing, but you'll notice that I can do the same thing within PowerPoint. So this particular file was opened from that team site, that Northwind Traders opportunity site, that we mentioned before. I can see that right here. I can have multiple people editing it at one time. So right now, myself and Eric are both actually editing this document in real time. But if I wanted to share this with other people, I can click the share icon or the share button on the left here. And you'll see the same UI, similar to what you saw within the SharePoint and the SkyDrive interface, you'll see here. So again, I can type other people if I wanted to actually share this with other people within the company. I think there's an Amy in here. I can send a quick note to her and share it with her as well. Click on share, and it's going to send a note to her and now show me that other people that actually has been shared with. So I can easily share it with other people outside. Now, if I wanted to send out a generic sharing link, I can just click a create link here, and then it'll actually create an edit link that I can copy and paste and send with other people. And if I need to lock it out, I can quickly disable it right within PowerPoint. And this is going to happen in PowerPoint and Excel and Word as long as these documents are stored up on that SkyDrive Pro library, or even the SkyDrive Consumer library if it's in the consumer space. You'll see the same look and feel flow between the two of them. So, I mean, these are all obviously, and I haven't had time to go through obviously any amount of super detail, but I'm hoping that this gave you a good understanding of what Office brings to the table, Office 365 across the board, and how all these different tools can help your users become much more efficient. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to Jason to close out with a few more comments, and we can end on that note.
Todd, thank you very much. That was a great demonstration of Office 365 in action there. Thank you again. Quickly, want to wrap some things up here, but what's next? I get asked all the time, what role does OnPar Technologies play in the mix? Office 365 is a service that is hosted by Microsoft, but OnPar serves as your local point of contact to help you understand and execute. OnPar is your Office 365 partner. So in a pre-sales role, we will work with you to make sure that you understand the product features and the different plans and pricing options that are available to you. And as Todd mentioned, Todd mentioned, mixing and matching certain plans to fit your business needs. I will also help you understand your support options, both with Microsoft and with OnPar, including the 99.9% uptime guaranteed in the service level agreement. Also available for customizations of Office 365, whether it's specific Exchange policies, SharePoint customizations, integrations with other programs and equipment. Again, it's a huge benefit to be working with a local Microsoft partner like OnPar for those items. And when you finally do understand Office 365 and you're ready to move forward, OnPar will help you execute your move to the cloud. This typically begins with setup, provisioning, and migration services. And we also ensure integrations with existing systems, as well as provide on-site or online training, both for administrators and end users. But probably most importantly, OnPar remains your partner of record for Office 365, a local point of contact that is associated with Microsoft. So you have somebody locally that you can work with should you need anything. And finally, I want to make sure that everybody is aware of the incentive programs available from Microsoft. Most notably, go back one there. There we go. Most notably, the Cloud Easy program. Right now, for a limited time, through May 31st, 2013, Microsoft is offering this Cloud Easy Subsidy program, and it's only available when you work with an Office 365 partner like OnPar. So with the Cloud Easy program, you, the customer, will receive a check from Microsoft made out to OnPar Technologies after you've purchased a qualifying number of Office 365 licenses. The offer also applies to Dynamics Online and CRM Online and Windows Intune licenses as well, two other excellent cloud offerings from Microsoft Online Services. It's a one-time payout of 15% of the annual subscription fee. So, for example, if you purchase 20 licenses of Office 365 E3 plan, you'll receive an estimated $720 from Microsoft to spend with OnPar Technologies for services like consulting, training, and ongoing support. Again, it's a subsidy incentive offer that's only available for licenses purchased between March 1st and May 31st, 2013, but it is available for existing customers who add users or upgrade licenses during that time. The other incentive program you see on the screen is called the Big Easy. It applies to on-premises purchases like traditional servers and on-site hardware. It doesn't necessarily apply to Office 365. But again, the Office 365 offer is the Cloud Easy offer, which is 15% of the annual subscription fee. Of course, if you have any questions or anything regarding Cloud Easy, you can always contact OnPar Technologies, and that's something that I invite everybody to do. Contact OnPar for any questions you have regarding Office 365. We're happy to schedule a complimentary assessment of your current infrastructure, determine what services are right for your business, and to help out in any way that we can. You see our primary contact information on the screen. Also, please visit our updated website. We've recently updated it with a really cool design. It's onpartech.com. It's been very well received. So I want to wrap things up. Again, I appreciate everyone's time. I look forward to working with you. And I'll send it over to Nicole for a quick wrap-up.
Thank you, Jason. As a reminder, you can download a copy of today's presentation by clicking on the printer icon that's in the bottom right corner of your live meeting console. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's live meeting. Your live meeting console will remain active while you are logged in, but that concludes the audio portion of the event. Thank you so much for joining us today. You may now disconnect.